me. I like dark rides, and I love the Devil's Den. About 3 years ago, I had back surgery, and I was laid up for about 3.5 months. I cannot sit still. I'm always doing something, good or bad. I'm always doing something. So I started doing major updates for the Devil's Den, and that was also kind of forced upon me by Ghost Lake's mistake of. It was a walkthrough the year before in 2014. Their teardown crew came in and they
tore everything out.
They took everything. Other than, I'd taken out Elizabeth and I'd taken out the Devil because we planned on redoing Elizabeth and we planned on making a new Devil because he was falling apart and he will be on display at the gift shop later. When we went in, there was literally
garbage.
The old swamp alien that was falling apart, and the lady on the pole. If you haven't been in there, you'll see her. That was all that was left. Their teardown crew mistook some of our stunts for theirs. They didn't have any specific instructions, so they tore the floor out and they took stunts. So I was forced to make major changes, and then after that, it's just steamroll. Every year I try to do something a little different, update something, keep it fresh, keep it new, keep people like us who love dark rides coming back just to ride.
His granddaughter will not walk into his bedroom. She's scared.
Yeah, if you want to see my Devil's Den workshop, that's actually my bedroom. I got a table in my bedroom and most of my work's done there. My mom's over there. Some of my props stood in the living room for a couple weeks as I was finishing them up. She got used to seeing the new swamp alien and the skin guy in the living room every morning when she came out. She was like, oh my God. And then at first it was like, oh my God, who's there? And then after that it's like, oh, you moved them,
Yeah.
She was so used to
She's
it.
made some of the costumes. She helped me. He still owes us a nice big dinner for the spider.
Yeah, I mean,
That was a nightmare to do, so
never again.
never.
All right. Before we go in, just to let everybody know,
This is grease.
there's a steel track that runs through this. This is a gravity run ride, so the floor is going to slope. It's going to be uneven, and the track is actually oily and greasy. So please be careful. Try to stay either on one side of the track or the other. There's a couple low bridges when we'll take in through the entrance as you would ride the ride. If you want to walk up and see the gum wall, please be careful walking up there. Couple low bridges, and you'll see throughout the den, you'll see some little sensors sticking out from the wall. Please be careful not to bump them. I use reflective beam sensors to activate my stunts, and if they get hit, they get out of alignment, and it takes me a little while to get them back in alignment so that the stunt works. Before we start, also, I want to introduce Brianna. Come on up, Brianna. I'm embarrassed you, I'm sorry. Brianna is extremely talented with sculpting and special effects stuff. Some of you may remember her from a couple classes that we did. She is responsible for the creation of the Devil's Den. And I also got her to do a task for next year. Give everybody a little sneak peek. I'm going to be putting a creepy looking vampire in. Yeah, but all that work that she's done, that's her. She takes. I have to give her 100% credit for the creation of the vampire's head and for the awesome job she did on the Devil's head.
All we did was give her a picture.
As the wife said, all I did was I gave her a mannequin's head. I gave her
a
couple pictures of what I wanted to look like. She sent me back a materials list, and she did just such an awesome job. I can't thank her enough.
I know.
She's extremely talented. So questions related to the Devil's head, please refer to her how she made it, because I'm just, I don't know how she did it, so. Alright, let's, Heather, you wanna break them up into two groups?
Sean, here.
Get it signed. I created a ghost story that ties the bride and groom to the double step. So we'll show you that story.
Oh, I love it, yeah.
If everybody just wants to start coming up with a cue.
But it took us 2 years to notice that we accidentally put the arms on backwards. It's actually easier if you walk on your left-hand side and throw it there. That's the only thing that's kind of bad about that. When you use your left side, there will be little tweaks along the side here for you to get a little bit of that.
We're supposed to wait for him?
We're supposed to be there.
Hard to imagine this coming all the way up here and ended up on the ground floor by the time you're out. It doesn't look like it's that much of a slope.
Yeah, but it finds its way down. The building's very long. They squeeze a lot.
All right, ladies and
When we
gentlemen.
started DAFE, we wanted to do something
Yeah.
here, and I realized there's no room for props.
The first things you see when you came in are the Lion and Tiger canes. They are still original from when the ride was built 50 years ago. The only thing I've done is I've changed some of the lighting on them so they now actually light up. I get a lot of ambient light coming in from the outside, so there's not much I can do with them. The next thing is that you're standing behind is my truck stunt. Horn sounds when you're right here at the corner, so we get a good startle effect with it. I don't have room to. As you see, my biggest problem is my space is very confined. So all my props have to be behind a cage or people will rip them down. People are ignorant. Any questions while we're here?
Where are your sensors for the lights?
What's that?
The truck stuff, where's the sensor?
Oh, the sensors actually, I use reflective beam sensors.
Right.
And this one, because I don't have a straight shot from a reflector, I have a little diffuse beam sensor down there. And you can see right here for I call it the travel channel hallway. My
Oh, okay.
reflective beam sensor's there and it shoots over to the beam or the reflector there. And as we go down, you can see like that's there for Zombie Boy. It shoots across the hallway. When a car breaks the beam, it activates my controller.
Right.
The reason I call this Travel Channel hallway, if anybody remembers seeing that Travel Channel show about the amusement park makeover and all that? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't bash them too much because I do like the facade they put on the front of the den. They did do this endless hallways, they called it. It's just a nice little fire painting down there with a strobe light. And they gave me a really cool spider that we fought. I got the key. There you go. So as you come back down this way, after the endless hallway, we have my Zombie Boy. They kind of stand where everybody can come by and see. This year I kind of gored him up. He used to be kind of generic. I gored him up a little bit. It's a family ride, so I don't want to get too gory or too scary, too nasty. But I try to sneak a little gore in here and there. I try to keep a balance.
Yeah.
You know, I have a lot of young riders, a lot of kids that just ride over and over, so I don't want to scare them away, but I want to give them a little shock.
Right.
Got to get them into it somehow.
Yep. But I gored him up this year. You'll see when you ride, he lights up and his arms move up and down. I got a piece of material in there so it looks like he's ripping flesh out of the arm.
Nice.
And he's all the stunts in here are pretty much homemade. Keep following through. Can everybody hear me back there?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
As you walk through, the next thing you'll be is a typical classic, and this works great, is I call it strings in the dark. This is nothing but a bunch of nylon string hanging in a very dark hallway. This part of the den there's no stunts because of room, so we just hung a board and tied a bunch of strings on it. And it works awesome for ladies with spaghetti string tops on. Because you get a string going across, they get a string going across the shoulder, they think something's touching them.
Are you gonna get this stuff?
And people like the freak.
It's like Medusa.
The next stunt is, we call her Medusa, back over here. She's still original from when Bill Tracy put in props and stunts into the Devil's Den back in 1968. We've just she's changed over the years. All we've really done is paint her and add snakes to her hair. She lights up and she glows.
Yeah.
But she's still one of the original props. Following one, I have Dr. Moriarty. He is kind of a takeoff to when Gary Harrison bought the park back in the 90s, and he renamed it to Dr. Moriarty's Wild Ride. The park changed back to the Devil's Den back in 99 or 2000. A friend made the tombstone, and I used it for a groundbreaker zombie. So this year I have a pop-up ghost. You can't see him because I made sure you're tucked behind the tombstone. He pops up, lights up, and says some nasty things at you. But you're gonna die. No swearing. But we dressed him up. I actually looked up Dr. Moriarty's picture from the British Sherlock Holmes site, and we dressed him in it. We bought stuff and we sewed, had my mom sew it and all that, so he has a Victorian look. But yeah, he pops up from behind the tombstone and he kind of growls and says you're gonna die or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it says. I reprogrammed a lot of my controllers this year, so I don't remember what all of them say. I have a witch. Her head turns, her eyes light up, she turns back, her head turns back and forth, she cackles and does typical witch things. I like to have some more movement on her, but unfortunately, as you can see, my space is very confined, so I gotta pick and choose what I can do.
If I could ask, where'd you get the hands?
This was actually a hanging witch prop that I bought, but she was flat.
Yeah.
So what I did was I used Spider Hill Prop Works framing kit, and then I took a mannequin, or not a wig, a dress form, just like the upper torso. I cut the neck out, and then I used some threaded rod to bring it out to give her a body.
Right.
And then
The hands came with the original prop.
Yeah.
You just dressed
the
them
hands and the hands and the face are the off the original prop, and I just used them to modify.
up. Nice.
And if you go to Home Depot in Meadville and you're carrying a Halloween prop, they will mistake you for me. Because they run down at Home Depot when they see me, because I walk in, I'll have a Halloween prop, and I'm like, I need you to match this color and this color. And they just give me that, oh God, it's you again. Alright, for this year, this is the brand new Swamp Alien. I have not posted any pictures of him on my Facebook page because I knew DAFE was coming, so I wanted to keep it a surprise. He turns back and forth. I got a green LED light that lights him up, gives him a nice creepy look. I found a free audio program, so I mixed flies buzzing, cicadas, crickets, a bunch of nature sounds. I mixed them all together and you get this creepy buzzing, clicking sound.
That's cool though.
But yeah, he moves back and forth. He'll turn back and forth like he's kind of scanning the area. And most of the stunts this year, we put the doors on with new fencing. The original stuff that was in here was real fine mesh. You didn't get a good look at the props. So we expanded to like either chain link fence or some fencing. You get a better view of the stunts. Because unfortunately, I got people that'll ride through and just reach out and try grabbing. I had a vampire in the one corner down here last year. She would lunge out at you. We actually had a guy, he admitted that it scared him. So he reached out, he stopped the car, got up on the car, stood in the car and ripped her down and destroyed her.
Wow, that's.
Yeah,
He's banned from the park.
he is banned from the park, but the damage was done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That takes some puck though to jump out, get out for
Well,
a bit.
look at my spacing. You can just reach out and stop the car.
Yeah, true enough.
The next area is, I just call it my electrical stunt. I don't have a lot of room here and I have an emergency exit that I have to keep clear. I built this and relocated it. It's just a bunch of old electrical boxes, clear tubing in here, but I got LEDs everywhere, so all my lights flash up, my fuses flash like they're arcing out inside. The tubing looks like it's arcing and flashing. All my outlets have LEDs in them that make it look like they're flashing. They're arcing inside. As soon as I find the rest of it, I got some PVC pipe that I'm going to run down to the floor with some exposed wiring. But it's not going to be live. I'm just going to have LEDs in there and make it arc, make it look like it's arcing. I used to have a small version of this, about 8 years ago, back in this corner. And we had one of the state inspectors from Harrisburg that saw it. And he thought it was actually one of our electrical boxes in here. He was going to shut the ride down. You may remember a little short bald-headed guy, John. Not Jardine, but I remember his last name. Yeah, he actually thought it was one of our main electrical boxes. He was going to shut the ride down. Until we turned it on, I stuck my finger up in here and I said, I'm not getting shocked. If you look, and I reached up and I unplugged it, I said, see?
That's really funny. That means it's well done.
But it lights up in the dark, all the flashing lights in there. I got a UV light that lights it up. And I got some nice buzzing, arcing sounds going to it. The next one I just call the banging coffin. It just lights up from the inside, so it outlines the coffin and it bangs back and forth, don't let me out. This is where I had my vampire, and this is where the guy actually stopped the car and ripped her down. This actually turned out to be very effective because you come around and all of a sudden you're getting bang, bang, bang. It gives the people a nice little scare.
So threatening to get a wreck.
Next on the list is we call him the new devil. As I said out front, Brianna did all the work on the head. I think she did a fabulous job.
Hold on a second, I don't know why.
The only thing
Thank you.
that me and my wife did was I bought a male mannequin and we painted the hands and we put the costume on and we dressed him up and all that, but Brianna did all the work on his head, and I can't say nothing but praise about it. I think it looks really good.
You've got a real handsome devil now.
I wouldn't call him handsome. He's not hideous looking, but he's not good looking. He's just
Menacing.
yeah. He has that menacing look, and you don't get a good look at it when you're riding the ride, unless you really pay attention. His eyes actually look like they're following you. When you do the walkthrough tour, if you look at his eyes, and you just walk by and look at it, it looks like his eyes are shifting and following you.
What did you use for the eyes?
You'd have to ask Brio.
I'll ask her.
They may be the original eyes from the mannequin. I'm not positive. I'll be honest with you. She sent me a materials list and I sent it to her. I figured she knew what she was doing.
Did she go to art school, Tom?
No, she has no actual formal training on special effects. She may have had like high school art class, but it's all self-taught. Natural talent and self-taught.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see the work she's done on the devil's face head. You've seen the work she did on the vampire's head.
Yeah, that looks like Bat Boy. From Weekly World News.
And you were there when we did like the. She came down and did the special effects with the latex mat. Oh, that girl's very talented.
She is.
Yeah, that looks great.
Next one is well, Heather wants to talk. Is our our resident ghost,
Yes.
Elizabeth. If anybody's not familiar with the story, back in 1942-43, one wing of the hotel burned down. The story goes that Elizabeth and her husband, who were newlyweds, were in the hotel and Elizabeth died in the fire. So now her ghost haunts the hotel looking for her husband. So I played off of that, and I put Elizabeth in here. I have her body in here. And since she died in the fire, I made her look like she was burned.
Did you have to dig her up first?
No. No.
No, but the groom.
But now the groom, he died of natural causes many years later. We can't find any information on it, so this is the story I tell. He died many years later, brokenhearted because he lost his beloved Elizabeth. I can't reach. Ugh. Have to come back this way. Too short there. There we go.
There it is.
Oh, nice glasses.
I like the glasses.
So I gave him more of a corpse look. Although he turned out a little bit green on me. But he looks like
I like it.
when you come around, the doors open up, and Elizabeth calls to Edgar, and Edgar answers her back. It's just something that we came up with. And we named him Edgar because we couldn't find any information about what Elizabeth's husband's name was. So we just picked a Victorian sounding name. And I think Heather came up with a last name or something. We never thought about that.
Didn't need one until now.
You want to tell your story here, or do you want to tell it outside?
You know what, actually, it might be better outside because
We
everybody's
can
down
do
the hall.
it in one group.
Yeah, we can do it in one group too.
All
Good
right.
point.
My next prop stunt area is my spider corner. I use white camouflage netting for my spider webbing because I didn't have time to get up there with my cobwebbing gun. And the white camouflage netting is actually fire resistant, so that was like a bonus. I got about 3 dozen different types of spiders all over the corner. I got some skulls and some cobwebbing. I got the 3 big spiders. This one here was the travel channel spider. I had to do a lot of repair work to him. This is the one that we made, and yeah, we made a few mistakes making him. But he turned out really good. All their eyes light up. And I didn't put it on the Facebook page, but I have this guy, I got this victim up here. His legs slowly kick out back and forth, like as the spider's munching on him, he's still half alive and kicking.
You've done so much in this corner.
I have to go here. You see the space I have, so I have
No, it
to
looks good.
go high or behind the cage or something like that. I'd love to have the room you have, Randy. I would love it. one, as we're going out, I call him the skid man. He turns back and forth. Last minute decoration, we got a scene setter, morgue scene behind him. He was a challenge to get up there. He actually looks taller than he is because you're looking up at him. Once again, as I said, I'm very confined to my space. He's actually only about 4'6" tall. But he looks a lot taller being up there. And then he was a kit that I decorated up, body form for his chest to give him depth, Amazon scrubs, lab coat, stethoscope, and I actually made his face about a white plain generic mask for like a theater mask.
Yeah.
And I just layered liquid latex and then some cheesecloth as reinforcement. I just kept building it up, and then gored and bloodied him up a little bit.
Wow. I mean, just for a little laugh, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Pants and the shirt.
Yeah, I mean, everybody else will.
I'm not super talented, but you know,
But as you see.
something like that I could do. You know, I could sit there and
And
cut the eyes out.
But
And,
not the iconic
she did it
double.
all.
no, I couldn't do the devil. I could not do that.
Yeah, he does.
No, you'd never know. It's just a
Well,
little mask.
I don't say I couldn't. I would say I could probably come up with something that looked
He
good,
stays in
but
here.
it would probably take me 10 times longer than what bring on.
Priceless, you can't put a price on it.
You're the classic Connor making a lot out of a little bit of material.
Yep. I'm already.
God, are you a talker? I'm already up to you. You work the gold.
Or the
Well,
devil
for once,
recommends-
you're not talking very much.
You are so slow, old man.
This, I'm gonna open this, this is one
Extra
of my
special
dreams.
effects, Tom's wife.
When I-
Keep it up, you're going to be a prop. That's what I tell my ride operators. Keep it up, you're going to be a prop.
Good stuff.
You don't need VIP today?
And I was said, well, the bride, you see that walks the halls. I don't know who found her name Elizabeth, but we talked about the girl. And whose name is that? I have to go to my notes here. Just finished working on the story this morning. So, Edgar was a caretaker of the hotel, and he loved the hotel Conneaut. He said this is a great lady. And Elizabeth loved Edgar the way that he loved his hotel. And Edgar said that the hotel would be his legacy. And that was the one thing he wanted most, more than anything else, is to have his legacy live on forever. And Edgar even proposed to Elizabeth on it. And only fight they had ever had, the bride and groom ever had, was over the hotel. Edgar wanted to get married in the hotel lobby. And this is 1943. This wasn't 2018 where you get married wherever you want, on the street corner or on the roller coaster. You get married in a church. And Elizabeth said, I'm a Christian lady, I will be married in my church. And Edgar kind of pushed back on her a little bit, but the hotel, it would be so wonderful to have it in the hotel. And she said, you love this hotel so much. Edgar Moriarty, I think you will sell your soul for this hotel. And she stomped off. And Edgar kind of stood there, and guess who appeared? When she said that he would sell his soul for the hotel. Yep. And old Scratch said, I'll give you what you want, but you don't have to give up what you're supposed to get. And he said, you'll give me what I want. He said, your deeds at this hotel will live forever. And so the devil said, I'll make a deal with you. I'll give you what you want. And Edgar said, well, gee, I don't know. I really don't think I should make a deal. No, he said, well, yeah, take your time. Make up your mind. When you want to make a deal, just say I do. So he made up with Elizabeth, they compromised, they got married in the church, and they had the reception at the hotel. But when Elizabeth said, "Do you want to marry me?" Edgar said, "Yes." And every time between then and the wedding, anytime anybody said anything to Edgar, "Do you want to do this?" Edgar would say, "Yes." "Do you want to ride the Kaylee Bell?" "Yes." Do you want to go down to Exposition Park with me?" "Yes." "Do you want some gum, Edgar?" "No." Nobody knew why Edgar didn't like gum, but that's a different story. So, time goes by. Elizabeth and Edgar are at the altar. They're getting married in her church. And of course, the priest said, "Do you take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife?" And Edgar stopped, thought about it. You should have seen the look he got from his future mother-in-law. And finally he said, "I do." And nothing happened. The devil didn't appear. And Elizabeth said, "I do." Nothing happened. So they had their wedding, went and had the reception in the hotel lobby, and that hotel lobby is so beautiful. And they had their wedding night up in the bridal suite of the hotel. That was a gift to Edgar and Elizabeth from the hotel staff. And the room was just absolutely beautiful, filled with candles everywhere, very romantic. And Elizabeth said, "Do you love me, Edgar?" He stopped and he said, "I do." And as soon as he said, "I do," the devil came back. And Edgar said, "But I don't understand. Why didn't you come in the church?" And he said, "That's a holy place. I have no power in that holy place. I have my power here. So you're going to get your deal. Your deeds in this hotel will live forever." And Edgar was so upset. And he reached out toward his bride, Elizabeth. And as he reached out toward Elizabeth, he tipped those candles, started the fire in the hotel. And you know the rest of the story from there. The greatest part of the hotel burned to the ground. So he had given up what he loved forever, but his deeds have lived forever in the hotel. So when you visit the Devil's Den, you'll see Elizabeth, you'll see Edgar, and the devil's right there waiting right around the corner.
They'd be on.
hours open? 12. 12? Okay, open 12 to 8. Thank you. Starting next weekend, it'll be Thursday through Sunday, 12 to 8.